Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Taylor, for those of you who may have never been here before. In today's video we are going to be talking about my honest thoughts about The Sims 4 Snowy Escape, the expansion pack that came out in November of 2020. So I really wanted to start off by talking about some of the good things about Snowy Escape. I have a whole list of information on my iPad, so I'm going to be, going over my pros and cons about Snowy Escape from this list. So if I looked at it at any point, it's because I'm a little bit scatterbrained. So some of the good stuff about Snowy Escape. The first thing is, of course, create a sim. The Sims team really knows how to make some interesting outfits and hairs. There are a couple of questionable female hairstyles. Some of the bangs, just weird. But custom content creators have been able to take those and make some interesting things out of it. So I'm not that mad about that. However, I will say that a lot of the stuff isn't really versatile because a lot of it is made for like snowboarding, skiing, cold weather. You're not going to see your sim in the summer in San Myshuno even. I don't know. I was trying to think of Sulani's name, but that didn't come into my head. But you're not going to see your sim in the summer in Sulani wearing any of these clothes. So they're not super versatile, but they are quite cute. I will give them that. The next thing that's pretty good is the build by. However, a lot of the actual furniture is very, very boring. It's all just kind of like plain woods. Nothing super interesting, but then again, we do need some more plain furniture in the game. I just wish that this expansion pack was just a little bit more interesting in terms of furniture, but we did get things like the kotatsu table and hot pots and all of that kind of fun stuff in build by, so I really enjoyed that aspect of this pack. The actual homes that came with the game were incredible, of course, because they were built by a bunch of game changers. You had James Turner, Deligracy, Lil Senzi, and Simblesy building all of the lots in the world, so we don't have any of the weird things like a Realm of Magic staircase to nowhere, so that is quite exciting. And the actual world is beautiful. There's also new death types and new woohoo locations, which for a lot of simmers are very important things, and I find them to be very important and very interesting. So those are all the good things about The Sims 4 Snowy Escape, in my opinion. Let's go into some of the not so good things about Snowy Escape. So the first thing I want to talk about is the actual gameplay. Now, the gameplay in Snowy Escape is extremely shallow and super repetitive. This is because it's focused on mainly all of the winter sports activities, so you have rock climbing, you have skiing, and you have snowboarding. Skiing and snowboarding are so boring after like your third run down the mountain. Like you don't want to, if you only have one sim in your household and that's the only sim you have to pay attention to and they're just snowboarding over and over again, it gets so boring to watch after just a few tries. And something that I've realized is that skiing and snowboarding are two aspects of this game that I'm probably never going to use again. And that really disappoints me because they were such a big selling point in this pack. Now we also have rock climbing and the mountain climbing excursion event thing. Rock climbing is honestly just one of the many things that they just reused in this pack and reskinned in a different way, because we did get the rock climbing wall in the Sims 4 fitness stuff. So you see your Sims rock climbing, and these are just all animations that were already in the game, that were already there with fitness stuff, and that weren't added just for this pack, which makes this pack feel even more shallow because you're like, oh, they just added a different type of wall for your Sims to climb up. That's it. Like nothing really interesting happened with rock climbing. Then you get into the actual mountain excursion. Something that I realized is that the actual mountain excursion, like going up that mountain, is so easy. I had Sims, they had level 6 rock climbing and they got up on their first try and I was like, this wasn't even difficult. They weren't even in that good of a mood. They didn't even bring any supplies. Nothing bad happened to them on this trip. And it was just like, okay, let's go woohoo in a cave and then go home, I guess. There really was no challenge to it. There was no depth to the gameplay. I really wanted to have to go back multiple times to make sure that my Sims were able to do the rock climbing excursion and not just finish it on their first try, and I found that extremely disappointing. Even when watching the live stream of the gurus before the actual pack came out, I was like, this doesn't look very difficult, and it looks like something I could finish in one go, and that was just very upsetting to me. And they tried to play it off like it was a little bit more difficult, but I would have liked to see more consequences in the mountain climbing excursion, especially because rock climbing and skiing and snowboarding were such big selling points for this pack, and there's not much you can do with them. At a certain level, you're able to like teach ski lessons or like record yourself going down the mountain and make money off of that, but you're not going to want to do that all the time with a bunch of Sims. I just think that overall, since those are the biggest aspects of gameplay in this pack, that it really should have been a little bit more interesting. Something that really bothers me about The Sims 4 Snowy Escape is that so much of the big content for this pack is recycled. We've already talked about rock climbing being from fitness stuff, but we also have all of the festivals. And this is just like an idea that was already, played out in Sims 4 City Living, where you have like the Humor and Hijinks Festival, or Geek Fest, GeekCon, what is it called? Why is my brain blanking? But we ended up with festivals in this, and it's just like, okay, we got more festivals, the same stuff that we already had in City Living. Okay, so we have rock climbing, festivals. We also got hiking in The Sims 4 Outdoor Retreat, and there's also a bunch of like bug repellent type cans and stuff that we got in Jungle Adventure, and the same kind of concept is used here, and I would have just liked to see things that were a bit different. We did get a new career with Snowy Escape called the salary person career, but honestly I just think it's the business career with potential for longer hours based on those chance cards. However, there are a couple cool things about it, like you can get some bonus traits that are kind of cool, but I just think that it's a pretty boring career and I'm not really that interested in playing it because I don't want my Sims to be working long hours, and I'm just like meh. I just feel meh about salary person. Another really big selling point for this pack was lifestyles, and it kind of bugs me that lifestyles is a selling point for this pack because I feel like it should have been in the base game update along with sentiments. So there's a bunch of different lifestyles that your Sims can get based on the things that they do day to day, but to be honest, I feel like since there is no depth to Sims and to begin with, like the actual characters have no depth and they have no interesting personalities, that they really should have added this to the Sims 4 base game just so that all players could experience lifestyles even though they don't do much. The only thing that'll really happen is like if your Sim has a lifestyle and they do something that's opposite of that lifestyle, they might feel tense, they might get a little bit of skill gain, but it's just kind of boring. Like you have a Sim who's like single and loving it, and if they watch romantic TV, they'll like get annoyed, and it's like, okay. Like, that's not that interesting to me. It just doesn't feel enough. One thing that really bugged me about this whole pack is that vending machines seem to be like a pretty large part of the gameplay. We also got like the death by vending machine, which I do enjoy. I'm not gonna, don't take that one for me, but I just think that vending machines shouldn't be such a big part of the gameplay. Like you can buy clothing in the vending machines, you can buy things for your mountain excursions and snowboards and the new Simmy capsules from vending machines, but it's like, okay. Like you just go up to a machine and you click on, like nothing interesting happens. I would have really liked to see some kind of rabbit holes, like actual structure, like buildings that even if your Sim just walks in and it functions the exact same way as a vending machine and then walks out, I would have liked that so much more. I understand that this pack was highly inspired by Japanese culture and vending machines are very prevalent in Japan. I get that. But for a game like The Sims, I just feel like there's too many things like that, like too many market stalls and too many vending machines and then just a bunch of set dressing for all the buildings. And that's something that I'm really just sick of. But overall, I just think that The Sims 4 Snowy Escape is extremely repetitive, extremely boring, and very, very shallow, and I just feel like I'm never gonna use it. The thing about an expansion pack in The Sims 4 is that these packs are supposed to expand upon your gameplay. They're supposed to take your gameplay and change it in some way and like make it more interesting. And the only way that that really happened was with the lifestyles. Like that's the only thing that's gonna bring itself into different gameplay. You're not gonna every time live in Mount Komorebi, so that no, you're not going to go skiing and snowboarding with every single Sim you have. The only thing that's going to like transcend this pack is the lifestyles and sentiments of course came with the base game update, so that's available for everybody, so that doesn't count for this pack specifically, just the lifestyles do. And I don't think that they have enough depth or like interest to them to be worthy of the expansion pack title, because everything else in this pack happens in Mount Komorebi. You go hiking in Mount Komorebi, you go skiing and snowboarding and rock climbing in Mount Komorebi. There's not much expanding the rest of the game. It just felt more like a game pack with a really big world to me than an actual expansion pack, and I'm really disappointed in that. I've honestly not gone back to play at all with Snowy Escape. I use a couple of I use the one hairstyle quite a bit because I really like it, like the short bob, and one of the tops is like one of my new favorite things. There's like a stripe thing. I just like it a lot. So there's a couple cast items I use. I haven't even really used any of the build items because they're pretty plain Jane, and it's not really the thing that I like. To be honest, the things I use more come back from Eco Lifestyle from last June, and I find that pack to be better than this one, and I think a lot of people would be surprised by that. But overall, I just don't think that this is worth the price tag. If you want to grab this one at 50% off, I would definitely suggest doing that, but I do not think that it's worth the full price of an expansion pack in The Sims 4. You're way better off getting something like Cats and Dogs, University, Get Together, Get to Work even. I just don't think that this one deserved the expansion pack title, and I'm very disappointed in it overall. I never decided to make a review when the pack came out because I wasn't feeling very well and I didn't really dig that deep into it, but I've slowly been playing with the pack a little bit, and then at one point I was just like, I'm over this and I never want to see it again. And that's not how you should feel about expansion packs. I usually feel that way about like game packs. Like I'll play with vampires and just play with them a ton and then never touch them again for at least months and months, maybe even years. But that shouldn't be how you feel about an expansion. Overall, beautiful world, beautiful build, beautiful cast. that's about it. That's all they got. But yeah, those are my thoughts on The Sims 4 Snowy Escape. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know why you would, because it was just me complaining the entire time. I'm sorry. But if you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Leave your comments down below with what you think of Snowy Escape, if you enjoyed it, if you use it a lot, if you're kind of over it already, which shouldn't have happened, but let me know anything you want to let me know down below in the comments. And I really hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.